G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 25 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week I mentioned the biblical story of the wedding at Cana, which probably would not have happened except for Our Lady, Mary, the mother of Jesus. Jesus had not started his public life at that point, and Mary pointed out the problem of the celebration running out of wine to him and told the servants to do whatever Jesus told them to do. Jesus told them to fill 6 large 20 to 30 gallon capacity water jars with water and then turn that water into top quality wine. Jesus was generous because the average number of standard bottles from those jars would have been about 900 bottles. The wedding party had been going for quite some time before Jesus worked the miracle. The amount of wine needed at that point of the celebration would have been far less than the 900 bottles worth that Jesus supplied. 6 jars, averaging 25 gallons, would have made about 900 bottles if it were bottled. Because Jesus had not yet started his public life, he probably would not have worked that miracle for the wedding party except for Our Lady's prompting. So Our Lady interceded for the wedding planners. She stepped in on their behalf and got Jesus to take action to help with the miraculous wine. And that, wonderful listeners, is why Catholics honour her as an advocate for the ordinary people to get help from Jesus, because she, as his mother, can influence him to take pity on us, the people, or to show us his mercy. Catholics do not glorify her like they do with Jesus. The set prayers Catholics say to Mary are not prayed to her, but mostly to ask her to pray to Jesus for help of some kind. They ask her to be an advocate and get favours from her son. Look how powerful she is as an advocate for the wedding party planners. She got Jesus to work an amazing, generous miracle, even though Jesus was not yet on the path of his public life. Statues of Mary are reminders of her advocacy for us, the common people. And, wonderful listeners, if you have been following these podcast episodes, you would know by now that she is my guide and teacher. You should also know that I am seeking her help to make a better world. I believe she gets the Holy Spirit to help me as well. The things I put down to them to show they are with me are the ecstasies, the special dreams, and the lovely GBs or goosebumps, giving me hints and clues in the path to follow, especially to do something good. The hints and clues given to me don't always point completely to a path to follow, and I have to be prepared to work by trial and error to find the right path. I believe the hints and clues are leading me to the Scholarship Awards project at the local Aboriginal school, which I've mentioned in previous episodes. The last time I mentioned the project, I was waiting for Pete, the principal of the school, to arrange a meeting at a school assembly for me to make awards to the students selected by the school. Now there is some sort of hold-up at the school, and school holidays are upon us, and I have to take a short trip on family business to Darwin. When I get back from Darwin, I am going to put aside the school assembly with Pete from the school to try for a meeting with Medina from the local mosque. This is a trial and error move. I've mentioned her before in episodes 16, 17 and 18 as a lady I have received GBs over, and when that happened, she said she also received GBs at the same time. She is being pointed out to me in a strong manner by the spiritual world, and that's for sure. So I will try for a meeting with Medina and see if I can get her interested in my plan to have the three great Abrahamic faiths unify and become serious supporters of the Mudich Scholarship Fund, which I've previously explained. My plan for the three great faiths is to get meetings with the head Muslim imam, the chief Jewish rabbi, the Anglican archbishop, and the Catholic archbishop, and pitch to them the idea that they should all unify and support my scholarship fund for improving Australia's great social injustice, the Aboriginal situation. The fund awards scholarships to underprivileged students, especially Indigenous. The fund would be administered by a neutral party, the Medjugorje Centre, and the Great Faith supporters would all be official founders of the fund, and of equal importance in every way, including financially. The three Great Faith leaders here in West Australia could make it an Abraham Day event at Notre Dame University and announce their founding of the fund at the olive tree previously planted in the courtyard as a symbol of unity and peace. With the current international tension between Muslims and Jews, an event like what I mention here would attract the media, and the news generated would be good for all involved. I am being open and transparent in describing my plan to you, wonderful listeners, so that if I should succeed, you will know it all came to pass from the special future dreams and GBs experienced from Our Lady as far back as the year 2010. I will report on my hoped-for meeting with Medina when I have it scheduled after my return from Darwin in a few weeks. Early in my dealings with Our Lady, I was rather naive and innocently expected people in high positions in organisations like the police, the church, charities, or not-for-profits to be really good people of good morals and ethics who had got into those higher positions through being ethically suitable for them. That belief meant, because of my innocent trust, I was open to being taken advantage of by those people. I had to be taught to be careful and not to be automatically trusting. So I was led to go onto the managing board of a not-for-profit organisation where the board was supposed to carry out the members' wishes in the operations of the organisation. However, a small number of the board had over time seized power for themselves and were making decisions of their choice, not the members' choice. This small power group was led by the chairman. At one of the board's monthly meetings, that chairman spent quite some time speaking about the board being open and transparent, which I did not think anything about at the time, but the following month the chairman blindsided all the board members by presenting each member with a copy of a confidentiality agreement they had not seen or been advised about, and demanded each individual member sign on the spot. The confidentiality agreement documents were presented to each board member in such a way that to refuse to sign would have left them open to being called a malcontent. That chairman was not a man of good ethics. He was just trying to ensure he and his cronies kept the decision-making powers to themselves. I was quite shocked by this chairman's behaviour, and it led me to rethink about trusting people just because they inhabited lofty positions in highly thought-of organisations. It also made me think about the use of confidentiality agreements and non-disclosure clauses. I came to realise that anyone trying to bind others to those types of restrictive agreements was wanting to keep something secret, when keeping it secret could be detrimental to others. They were trying to keep secrets to get an advantage of some sort for themselves. Those types of agreements are really a form of greedy bullying, and my experience of them taught me to not be too trusting, but to always carefully discern when assessing people. Well, wonderful listeners, that brings me to the end of this episode. Please subscribe if not already subscribed, and comment so we get a two-way relationship going. This is Trev, tuning out for this week.